This is KC9VKV and the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog program. If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We are recording KC9VKV.
Whiskey 5, Charlie Alpha Hotel.
There's a whiskey something, Whiskey Oscar?
Whiskey 5, Charlie Alpha Hotel.
Roger, Roger. What's the name there? Whiskey Charlie Alpha Alpha. What's your name, please?
Whiskey 5, Charlie Alpha Hotel. And the name is DAVE-W Victor.
Roger that. Roger that. This is Jim, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. We're running the Qso-Vlog program. What kind of radio are you running there, sir?
Jim, running a 65 Flex 6500 and with a solid state Icon PW1 amplifier into a off-center fed dipole about 45 feet in the center and about 20 feet on each end. That's a setup. We're in Tyler, Texas. Back to you.
Roger, sir. You're giving me 7 dB above my noise level, so I can copy you fairly well, provided that Mother Nature hangs in there. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. I've been listening to you for a while, and signals are up and down. I can see the entire band moving up and down. So that's kind of the nature of things these days with all the lack of sunspot activity, Jim. I guess that's the way it's going to be for a while.
Roger, Roger. And your ALC, you're running about mid-scale to 2/3 on your ALC?
Probably not pushing the amplifier that hard. Let me take a look. Yeah, maybe so, about mid-scale.
Roger. Well, you know, you can always do your ALC up mid-range, mid-scale to 2/3, and then back your RF down, you know. But that way that'll give you a little bit fatter audio, and then you can back the RF down to whatever you need to feed your box, Roger.
Yeah, Roger that. I increased it almost full scale. I'm going in the balanced input on the back of the Flex. And I'm using a Howell PR781, and this is his default setting for ESB 3.2K wide. So that's what you're hearing right now.
Roger, what's the bandwidth?
3.2.
Oh, Roger that. Roger that. Yeah, that's sufficient. You know, your 3 is sufficient to actually, you know, get the job done. Roger.
Yeah, Roger. This is just happens to be the default that was recommended by Bob Howell, and I've played with it before. Anyway, equalization is up higher on the phone. The higher end up around probably +7, +8 at 4K. Pretty well flat around 1K, and then down about 6 dB at 250 and so forth.
Roger. Now, you could afford to put a little more bottom end in, you know, maybe 2 or 3 dB if you wanted to. It sounds like it's rolling out on the bottom end at like maybe 300 or so. So you could use a little bit more on the bottom end if you wanted to, you know.
Okay. Well, I've increased the bottom end 1, 2, 3 radio test. That's the bottom end increase. That should bring the lower end up a little bit.
Roger does. I would take it not quite that much, just maybe 1 dB. Well, how much did you increase the bottom?
3 dB.
I would back off just to where it's 2 dB instead of 3.
All right, that'd be 2 dB right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Roger, Roger. Now, you know, you have to kind of maintain your proximity to a microphone because as you shift your position, you have a thing called proximity effect on the microphone, and even at 6 inches, you have X amount of proximity to microphone bass boost, and then as you increase your closeness to the mic, that bass line comes up harder. So probably the idea would be to find a space that you know where you want to work it, and just kind of try to stay in that space. Roger.
Yeah, I'm using my center monitor of 3, and had to turn my head a little bit there to to be able to set the graphic equalization for transmit. So right into the microphone. Now this is a pretty directional microphone, and I'm using it because of fan noise and so forth in the room, Jim.
Roger that. Well, you know, my standard situation is I run a windscreen, and I'm right on top of the mic. There is not a half an inch off that mic. I'm right on it with the windscreen. Windscreen allows you to do that, and then obviously you have to replot your EQ because you have all kinds of proximity buildup by working at that close. But you know, and that's usually just a roll, bottom in, roll out to where you know you are where you want to be. At that, and the good part about it is that you're never off mic because you're constantly there, and you can tell you're there because you can your lips start getting tingly because you're working right there, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. So I'm going to work this a little bit closer. I'm assuming you're recording at this time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We record continuously from 3:30 till 5 or till the cows come home.
So, comments.
I'm sorry?
I said, just give me a comment on that. I'm real close to the mic now, about a half inch.
All right. And now, do you have a windscreen on that mic?
I do not. I do not have a windscreen for this particular mic at this time.
Do you have a windscreen that would fit on that mic?
Let me try one onto one other mic.
Roger. I don't really suggest using a tight mic until you have a windscreen, because that's the one thing that you definitely need to have is a windscreen when you work tight mic. I like where the sound was, but definitely need a windscreen on it.
Okay, they did fit. So that's about the same distance from the mic with the windscreen.
Oh, I'm liking that. Tell me about your antenna.
It's an off-center fed dipole, home built with a 4-to-1 Ballum. It's about 133 feet, about a little under 30% offset to get the impedance right for my lot. And it took quite a bit of tuning, and I used used one of the expert network analyzers to set it with, and it was chasing some impedance around, and ended up with a little higher on the low end, around 75 meters, and a little bit below 3.6, and pretty good on 40, 1.2 to 1, 20's good, of course no 15, 17's good, so I'm pretty happy with it, and I don't have much other option on my lot. Jim, back to you.
Roger. Now, do you feel pretty comfortable working the mic that way?
Oh yeah. It's just not something I've done.
Roger. Okay, I would suggest the next go around that you go into the ALC mode and maybe trim your audio level just a tad on your, watching your ALC and working at that proximity. Roger.
Okay, so I'm going to drop it back just a little bit. I'm in compression right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That dropped it back some. What do you think?
Well, just so long as you're mid-range to 2/3 on the ALC meter, that's the important thing, And if you're that, then we can talk about go back to talking about the EQ just a tad, Roger.
That should be about where it's at right now. I'm actually not using ALC on this amplifier. Of course, I'm looking at the ALC on the radio itself, but it does not control my amplifier.
No, you don't want to use that feedback from the amplifier. That's a big pain in the whatever, and causes more problems than what it's worth. Just use your radio ALC, Roger.
Yeah, Roger.
And I think that EQ's sounding pretty good, I mean, the thing is, we need to talk just a tad more. Tell me about something else there for a minute or so, where I can get about 10 or 15 seconds worth of a little more audio.
Okay. Well, I'm interested in seeing what this sounds like. Just pushing my watt meter, which is the RadioCraft 3000, and looking at peak reading on it. It's pushing right up to 1 kW, which is the capability of the amplifier. looking at the average, showing about 500 or so on peak, which is pretty much what I've seen before. So this is driving the radio driving the amplifier a little bit harder than I normally would, Jim. So the watt meter on the amplifier is showing up, and it's real stingy, peaking up around, physically on the meter, around 275 watts, and that's not unusual.
Roger, I would pull off 1 more dB on the bottom end, since you're working closer to mic than normal, or than you have. At least 1 dB, maybe 2. Let's try 1 and see where it goes.
I dropped it back 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's getting a little bit closer to what Al has suggested on the bottom end. And then that is published in the radio. It's one of the default settings.
Roger that. Well, I'm getting a little Mother Nature discrepancy on your audio. It's starting to phase cancel some, and it's kind of hard to tell. But we have been recording, so you can hear all of that and kind of tell where you are now. And if you go to YouTube in the next couple of days and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and then when you're on the Qso-Vlog page, look for a session called My Group Air Check 120718. My Group Air Check 120718. Roger?
Yeah, Roger, and I appreciate that, and I'm sure I'll learn something from it, Jim. I appreciate your help.
Roger, that last transmission was nice and in the clear, and it sounded pretty balanced to me, so I think you'll like it, Roger.
All right, thanks, Jim. Appreciate your time. W5CAH.